Hi, I'm Debbie, and I'll be your guide for the construction of Block 6 of our gorgeous London Blues quilt. This block is also called the Cobalt Block. Okay, today we're going to be using fabric 1, 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10. The techniques we're going to be using are our half square triangles, our square and a square, and our hourglass block. To begin with, we're going to do our half square triangles that we will then use to construct our corner units. We're going to take fabric 10 and put it together, right sides together with fabric 2. We are then going to take and draw a line corner to corner, so 1/4 inch on either side of our drawn line, and then we're going to cut, and we will have 2 half square triangles. We then need to trim these triangles, and I'm going to show you 2 ways today of using it. This is the trimmer tucker, and this is one of the trimmers, half square triangle trimmers, that I like to use. I am going to first of all finger press my triangle to the dark, and I like to use finger pressing. It doesn't distort sometimes as much as an iron will. I'm going to take and lay my ruler down along the line like so, and then I'm going to take and I'm going to trim, and then I'm going to trim. Okay, I'm going to flip this around, and you see with this tucker trimmer what is nice, and I'll pull it out a little bit. You have a dotted line where what you trimmed will rest onto, like that. Your line is across your fold line. You trim and you trim. The other way of using the tucker trimmer, and there are people that really like this, it is a nice fast way of doing it, is to take your dotted line and put it on your sew line, and then you trim and you trim, and then you see the little tails. In order to get rid of them, where you just cut, you take and put that, and you trim and you trim. Then you can take and press to the dark, and you have both the triangles the same. Okay. To construct our corner unit, we're going to take these 2 and place them just like they are in our diagram on the paper that you will be getting. The dark of your triangles will go to the inside. Then you have another fabric that will go, and I am backwards from you, so it will be, let's see, yep, let's do it this way. Okay, and so you take these. Then what you're going to do is sew this to this, this to this. And you're going to have a unit that looks like that, and then a unit that looks like that. You're going to sew them together, and you're going to have them together like this. Now, if you remember the little trick that I have told you before, we are going to do a twist. And what this does is to break the thread, where we have a little, looks like a little 4 patch in the back, and then we can finger press it. What this does is keep you from having that lump in the center that sometimes raises because you have a bulk of fabric there. This is fine. We do not have to do any more trimming with this. Okay. The next unit that we will be doing is our square and a square. I have already sewn 2 sides together to this, and I'm just going to go ahead and press them out, finger press. And then I'm going to show you how I got these so even in the center. What I like to do is take and fold this, and we're going to make a finger crease. Then I'm going to take my triangle and I'm going to make another crease in the middle. And I'm going to put nest those 2 creases together so that when I go to sew them, I can sew straight across. Okay. When we finish, we will have a unit that looks like that. However, now we need to trim it down to the size, and the size you need to trim it to will be in your directions. I have a small ruler that I like to use to trim. Okay. In trimming a block like this, there's a little math involved if you're going to do half at a time. You want your ruler, your measurement, to be half of what your unfinished block will be. Such as if this is a 4.5 inch, then I'm going to measure 2 1/4 over. The same as if you had a 5 inch block, you're going to measure 2 1/2 over. And that will give you half of what you need. Now, I am bringing this over to where this is a 2 1/2 inch ruler, so this is a 2 1/4 at this line. What I like about this ruler is I have a dotted line that I can go from point to point. Then I have a 1/4 inch over to the side, and then I'm going to trim. I'm going to rotate it, and I'm going to do the same thing. And trim. I am going to do the same thing and trim. You see how nicely these points are coming together to make this beautiful little square. And trim. So now I have a perfectly trimmed center square. The next block that we'll be using, or the unit that we will be making, is going to be our Hourglass Block, where we're going to be taking fabric 8 and fabric 10, putting them right sides together. Again, we're going to make a half square triangle where we draw our line and sew a 1/4 inch on either side. We're going to do the same thing with fabrics 4 and 8. Once we do this, then I'm going to take, and I'm actually going to finger press to fabric 8. Then I'm going to take the other one and finger press to fabric 8 as well. And there is method to my madness. Then I'm going to take and I'm going to nest them together so that I'm going to have fabric 8 to fabric 10 again and fabric 4 to fabric 8. And I'm going to nest them and get in with your fingers, and you will want to pin. Don't worry if it's not quite even at this time, because at the very end we will be trimming it down. So once we do this, then we are going to draw a line, put it together. We're going to draw a line from corner to corner. We're going to sew a 1/4 inch on either side. When we finish, we're going to cut it, and when we open it, we're going to have our Hourglass block. Okay. At this point, it is a little too big, so we do need to trim it. Again, we're going to flatten it out. You see your little four-patch in the center. And this, again, takes away some of the bulk. I'm going to finger press and finger press. Okay. And I have a handy-dandy little ruler. There are other rulers you can use, but this makes it nice. What makes it nice about this one is that you have lines going this way and lines going that way, so you can put them all the way around the lines and keep it square. Then I'm going to trim, and I'm going to trim, and I'm going to move it around. There are revolving mats that you can get that you don't have to do this. You can just move the mat, which makes it very nice. Okay. And so now we have a perfectly trimmed hourglass. And now we have all the blocks we need in order to put our cobalt block together. We have our four corner units. The dark will go to the outside, the light goes to the inside. For our hourglass, the dark goes to the inside, and our lighter fabrics go to the outside. Now, when we sew this together, this is very reminiscent of a 9-patch. We will sew this to this, this to this, this to this. Then we'll go back and sew the other side here, here, and then here. And then once you have these three together, then we'll sew this to this and this to this in order to have our block.